we completely undermine the power of contemplation. Contemplation has a deep influence on our mind and life. Unfortunately, we seldom think about what we are contemplating and how much we are contemplating. I came across a couple of very interesting verses in the scripture Bhagavad Gita that talks about contemplation and how it eventually leads to the destruction of our life. Let's have a look at them. When a man contemplates sense objects, attachment for them arises. From attachment, desire is born. From desire arises anger. Anger leads to delusion. Delusion brings loss of memory, and loss of memory brings the destruction of discrimination. And from that point, the person perishes. So these are the 6 mini steps we experience when we contemplate sense objects. What is sense objects? Any pleasure that you experience through your senses that is dependent on some object or a person. That is sense objects, sense pleasure. When we contemplate sense pleasures, when we contemplate experiencing pleasure by having a particular person or desire, that will lead to this chain of emotions and thoughts that will eventually destroy our life. Let's look at an example. Imagine you met a person, you really liked a person. Now you want to know more about the person. You begin to contemplate about the person, contemplate spending whole life with the person, having romantic experiences, going out, traveling, enjoying your life with the person. So that contemplation develops attachment. You want to know about the person through your common friends, or maybe you begin to investigate on social media. That is the attachment stage. From attachment, desire is born. Now you want to really have the person because you have contemplated that this person is perfect for you. That is the contemplation. That is not the reality. Now your desire is also not real. That's why it arises anger. Obviously, when you can't have the person, you are frustrated. That is obvious. But there is an interesting point we must understand here. You would be frustrated even though you had the person of desire or the object of desire. Why? Because sense pleasures are short-term pleasures. When you contemplated, you thought the pleasure is going to stay with you throughout your life when you have this particular person with you in life. But the pleasure is short-term. It dies down and frustration pops back again. So anger, desire always makes you impatient and leads to frustration and anger in both cases, whether you succeed in fulfilling the desire or fail to fulfill the desire. And that anger brings delusion. These are the delusional thoughts, thinking that the pleasure stays with you throughout your life, thinking that your life is nothing without the person of desire or object of desire, thinking that you are less grateful just because you can't have what you want, what you desire. All these are delusional thoughts. That delusional thought leads to the loss of memory. You're going to forget who you are, what is your personality, what is your objective in life, what is the purpose of your life, what are your unique capabilities, what is your uniqueness, unique speciality in life, because you are constantly contemplating that your life is not complete, your life is not fulfilled without the object of desire or person of desire. So in short, you forget everything that is around you for which you could be grateful for. Now that leads to the destruction of discrimination. Now you can't discriminate between good and bad. How many times we have heard that people are resorting to heinous crimes like murder or rapes when they can't have the person of the desire or object of desire as well. They commit serious crimes. That is because they can't discriminate between good and bad. That is because they have been contemplating that this pleasure is going to stay with them. They become delusional. They have become frustrated with their life because they have contemplated that their life is nothing without them. Even if it is a small object of desire. Imagine a car. You want to have a car, you developed attachment for the car, you have desire to have a car, you make a wrong decision by taking expensive loans that you can't afford. There you couldn't discriminate between good and bad. And from that point, the person completely perishes. His whole life is destroyed. You can't experience joy, fulfillment, and happiness in life. Your personality, your authentic personality is also destroyed because you are constantly chasing after sense pleasures. So there are three major problems with these sense pleasures. One is they are always short-term in nature. Every sense pleasure that you experience is short-term. Imagine, think about it. All the pleasure that you have experiences through your senses. It could be a beautiful view through your eyes that dies down very quickly. A beautiful music, the pleasure that you experience through ears, that dies down very quickly. Touch, maybe romantic touch, that dies down very quickly. So every sense pleasure that comes from different person or object are short-term in nature. Sense pleasures or short-term pleasures. That's number one problem. Number two, they are outward pleasures. So all the sense pleasures are obviously based on outward circumstances. You have and third problem is you have no control over outward circumstances, which means you cannot know when you can experience the pleasure, how you can experience the pleasure, whether you will or not experience the pleasure at all. So you absolutely have no control over outward pleasures, pleasure that you receive from getting attention, social attention, from getting social approvals, from fame or fortune, or having a particular object, a car, a luxurious house. All these are outward pleasures. You have no control over them. In both cases, whether you receive them or not receive them, if you receive them, you still have no control over them because they are short-term pleasures. They die down very quickly. The possession itself can stay with you throughout your life, but the pleasure that comes from that possession dies down very quickly. The pleasure is not sustainable. Sense pleasure is not permanent. So what we should do? Unfortunately, we build our life based on sense pleasures. Think about it. What do you want from your life? What are your dreams in life? We always think about sense pleasures. I want a better job, high-paid job, a better profession, a good designation that can give a lot of attention to me, fame, fortune, a better car, luxurious house, better partners, good partner in life. And all these are sense pleasures, and we build our life, our dreams, our ambitions on these sense pleasures. They are short-term. That's why we can never experience fulfillment and joy in life. Instead of contemplating these sense pleasures, if we focus on developing values, if we build our life on the foundations of values like trust, honesty, compassion, love, care, empathy, absence of hatred, absence of jealousy, absence of ego, humility, understanding, ambitious, determination, patience, persistency. If we build our life based on these values, then we can experience true joy and fulfillment, a permanent happiness, a permanent pleasure. Think about it. Every time you act on your values, you experience the happiness and joy that is inside you. It's not outward in nature, that truly comes from inside you, because these values are deeply rooted in you. They help you connect with your true, authentic self. That's why we must build our life on the values, and the joy you experience by acting on these values are not something like like sense pleasures. Not You can't experience the joy through your senses. That is coming deeply from inside you. This is something I can't really explain. You just have to think about it, how you felt by acting on some of these values, by showing true love to others, by showing empathy, by helping others, by not hating anyone in life, by forgiving others. How do you feel? That is something, it is truly satisfactory, and that's how we experience joy and fulfillment and complete satisfaction in life as well. Not by not by contemplating sense pleasures, that will definitely destroy our life. Instead, if we focus on values, we will definitely have sense pleasures as well in life as a bonus, but we will also have deep rooted satisfaction, joy, and fulfillment in life. That is more important than sense pleasures. Let me know if you think otherwise. I would be very interested to know your opinions. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.